Hey, folks, welcome to Affiliate Nerd Out Deep Dive Edition. I'm your host, Dustin Howes, and today we're talking about something that most marketing teams have access to, but very few are actually using correctly, and that is affiliate data or data, if you want to be a jerk about it. Most brands think that affiliates as revenue and a performance channel, but in reality, affiliate programs generate some of the clearest top of funnel and demand signals in marketing. Signals that can inform PR narratives, social content, and paid media decisions long before your ad dashboard can tell you anything's useful. And the problem is that data lives in a silo. PR teams are testing headlines, social teams are testing hooks, paid teams are testing creatives, and affiliates are out there testing all of it and in public and tied directly into conversions. And today we're going to talk about how to let that data loose. So this isn't about doing more in affiliate marketing, as affiliate nerd out usually is, but it's more about using affiliate insights to make every other channel smarter out there. And joining me on the panel today are three incredible guest experts, starting off with Leanne Johnstone, 20-year affiliate veteran who founded Affyverse, an absolute legend. Welcome back to the Nerdatorium, Leanne.
Thank you so much for having me. And we'll tell the story about where I am in a minute, I'm sure. But
Yes.
very nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Well, you had a bit of a struggle today, and you're still here with us, and we appreciate that. But tell us what you do and who you serve first, Leanne.
So we're an affiliate marketing agency, and we're also an affiliate media platform. So we help people understand what's happening in affiliate marketing. We talk about what's trending. We talk about what that means for you as an affiliate manager. And then we just help people run and grow their affiliate programs globally. So that's pretty much us in a nutshell.
Great wrap up. Excellent. And next up, Paul Fernandez, master of growth and A/B testing nerd and first timer in the Nerdatorium. Welcome, Paul.
Thanks, man. Yeah, really excited to be here and nice to see some familiar faces as well.
Awesome. Tell us what you do and who you serve out there, Paul.
Yeah, so I'm the co-owner of The Growth Guys. We're a growth marketing agency which focuses on paid media, helping brands scale with sanity. It's a pretty insane world out there at the moment.
Oh, sanity is something more people need at times, especially in this digital marketing world. Thanks for being here. And then batting cleanup here, Hafiz Doza, founder of Inflection and maestro of CRO and influencers. Thanks for joining me again here, Hafiz.
Always a pleasure to be in the Nerdatorium.
Awesome. Tell us about what you do and who you serve out there, Hafiz.
Yeah, so Inflection is an AI-powered partnership growth platform helping brands scale their influencer and affiliate programs. Effectively, what we do is we personalize every click in real time. So, someone visits a site through a creator or an affiliate, the landing page, the messaging, all that can change in real time to match the partner's audience. That drives higher conversions, more revenue, and a better partnership long-term for both sides. So, what gets me excited is helping brands turn the affiliate channel into their largest and most scalable source of revenue.
Outstanding. And I've been with Inflection and consulting with them over the last couple of years. Incredible tool. You guys have to go check it out. Go to dustinhouse.com/INF and learn more there. Our panel discussion is going to be focused on practical examples. And for everyone who stays until the end, we're going to share a free resource. And that's a curated list by me, 25 publishers who are changing the game in affiliate marketing. So stay tuned for that. And let's jump into it. Our first panelist question here goes to Hafiz. When you look at most brands today, where is affiliate data underutilized or even completely ignored outside of the affiliate channel?
Sure, yeah. I think first step to that is making sure you're collecting the data. If there's no data collected, then how do you analyze it? And the rest of this webinar will be not very useful. So, to make sure that everyone's doing that well, how I'd break that out and look into that is firstly, your top of funnel, that's generally going to be off property on the affiliate's own channels. And then you have your middle of funnel, bottom of funnel once it gets to your property. And then the third piece to that would be how it relates to the lifetime value, if that's relevant for your business. So starting off property, the paradigm I like to keep in mind for that is affiliate. We talk about it as a channel here. It's often structured as a channel within a business, but really it's a business model, and so it's a business model that then comprises multiple channels. So examples to look at that for data on that would be like if you're working with email affiliates, how does their different lists compare for performance, or their open rates between promotions, or for social creators, engagement rates. At least that one you have public data on, because engagement rates, things like that, are generally something you can look online. And then, for podcasters, the completion rates, how long the retention curves are when you're in an episode. And so within that channel, what I like to look at is, how does your content do relative to others, the other offers or promotional content they have or non-promotional content they have. And so an example of that would be, let's say you work with an email affiliate and they're a golf list. Even though your product has nothing to do with golf, how does that offer do compared to other offers they run? Are the click rates better, worse? If that crushes it, then that creates other opportunities to work with that kind of audience in other channels. Or if you're a podcaster that sells like air purifiers, and you notice when you talk about, let's say, mold, that the retention curves on a podcast stay flat. Like people are not dropping off like the normal decay on a podcast episode. So people stay on that topic and don't close it off. And so that kind of data is working, and you can now use that to launch paid channel campaigns, create content on social channels. So that's where I think it can really help, at least for the stuff that's running on the affiliate's own platform. And then you can compare how that does, like within all the other stuff the affiliate promotes. Additionally, you can compare clusters of affiliates, what clusters work better, who are the common audiences between those, and start again using that data to create other channel-based campaigns using that, or getting data for like hooks and angles, things like that your affiliates are innovating for you. Obviously, they get paid for that, but you can take those concepts, don't copy them exactly, but run with those concepts. Mm-hmm. So that's all the stuff off property. Then when it lands on your site, the middle, bottom of funnel, I like to make sure everything is set up where you're capturing all the engagement and tying that back into your affiliate platform. So pushing back data on lead capture rates, add to carts, quiz funnel, starts, completions, even content module engagements on the site. And so that's why I generally prefer not doing things with the coupon codes, because you then lose the clickstream data. And I think that's super valuable. So that's one of the reasons why every time we onboard a brand onto our platform, we set up all the middle of funnel data, because when you actually look at that, there's like absolute gold there. And so that's probably in the middle of funnel. And then the bottom of funnel, if you're paying out big fat CPAs up front, and then you're keeping the LTV for the partner long term, you want to make sure you're pushing that LTV data back into your platform, so you can do LTV CAC ratios by partner and not just assume they're all doing similar retention curves, because sometimes you may be surprised that you're effectively having one affiliate subsidize another. So I think that's where it all ties together, where you can use that data in other marketing channels. But the first step is collecting it all. And I'd even pay a premium to work with affiliates that are willing to share with me as a true partnership that data in their platform.
Awesome. Well said. Love the part you mentioned about tagging affiliates and utilizing that data for your next level, whatever you're going to do. Paul, Leanne, anything to add in here on underutilized data?
Yeah, I think a lot of programs keep affiliates still very much siloed to the side, outside of media, outside of social, outside of PR. And what we're seeing is a real convergence of how all of this data should actually be plugged into one source of truth. And then it actually tells a very different story. So a lot of the kind of like bigger enterprise clients that we're working with, they are starting to see this, and they're starting to link back to even product development teams as well, where it's not about acquisition, it's actually about listening to what customers are resonating with on the front end with the content that affiliates are pushing out, and then bringing that back to the product team and going, hey, that offer didn't actually resonate, like it didn't convert as well. Might have worked great on paid media where the channel is and the search journey is slightly different, because on paid media you maybe don't know what product you want yet, But when you get down to kind of like bottom of the funnel stuff where you've already decided it's a choice of these two products, for example, some of that data can actually really help define what the sign up product should be for the customer to actually swing the vote in your favor. So I think data is, grossly underutilized because it's so fragmented, but also it tells a story when it's collated together. And I think that's the bit that some of the smaller brands, they haven't yet cracked because they have to use multiple different systems. They've got maybe an agency doing something over here. They've got their in-house team doing something over there. And I think we need to get everybody to the same kind of like baseline where everybody has the same decision-making power and not just the bigger brands that have got money to invest in, heavy tech solutions.
Well, even like what we find also is very counterintuitive is actually sometimes we see the bigger brands have more of an issue there because they are siloed out, whereas a smaller team will have one or two people in their growth team. So they kind of have that in their head at least. But once it's split up into multiple team members or outside agencies or whatever, you kind of lose that data.
And
in
also,
your head.
also countries. So, with really big enterprise brands, they've got individual marketing teams that work in specific countries. And actually, when you take a bigger kind of like helicopter view, you start to see patterns and things that are really different when you bring all of that aggregated data together. So, I totally agree with what you're saying there.
Yeah, I think the thing that chimed with me more with what you were saying, Hafiz, around like true partnership, data is the result of that relationship. Every team needs to be singing off the same hymn sheet, and whether it's paid creative or email lists or whatever it might be, whatever assets you're using and whatever channels you're using, like it's all got to be like it can't be fragmented. It needs to be running into the same channel, because that's ultimately not the result of what we're doing. It's also going to be the stimulus of what we're doing, and that's kind of like how we look at it. Is data, it's just a flywheel. We need data in the beginning and the end, and then the two eventually meet. So yeah, I think that the true partnership thing really sort of resonated with me with what you were saying there.
The thing with the data as well is that when you do have that kind of information, you can actually start to splice and dice your commercials a little bit better too. So you don't always have to pay on CPA and rev share. You can, now we're talking about brand citation. How do we start to track for impression basically on a performance basis with, ChatGPT and all of these channels that have come in that are now new. So data starts to become very important when you look at how many different channels you have to track across in performance. It's not just search, it's not just paid, it's all the social platforms. Now it's the AI platforms, it's in-app. It becomes very, very complex when you're trying to do this properly. To get yourself launched and out the door, it's easy to launch an affiliate program. The tech is there. To launch a successful affiliate program that is focused on margin, on profit, that's where the tweaking comes, and that's where the expertise comes.
Absolutely. All right. Great start. And we have a comment from Kristen Evans, such a powerhouse panel. Agreed. Kristen, thank you for joining in. And that's a note for everybody. Any comments or questions for this panel? This is a live webinar, so jump on in and we'll put it on up there. Next question for Leanne. The affiliate industry has seen a growing trend of PR and performance crossing over. Why is this happening right now? And what insights should PR teams be using from the performance team to maximize the results of using this data?
So, I can't speak to the PR piece because I don't work in PR, but I can speak on the performance piece. Publishers are building loyal audiences through the content that they develop and create. Now, we know that AI is coming into place and AI-generated content can be generated very quickly, but consumers are still savvy about what they read and what they digest. So just because an AI tool wrote a piece of content, consumers are now looking for more detailed information, so they can spot AI written content very, very quickly. And I think where PR teams can come in and actually support is by understanding the conversation around the product, not the product itself, and then leveraging affiliates to actually push that messaging out instead of only through paid channels, which is traditionally what PR does. It's earned media through story creation. So if you can take that PR backbone of how do you create story around product, around service, and you can feed that into your affiliate program and help affiliates to understand how to position the product, how to write content that really sells the product instead of just reviews content, which is kind of what we've relied on up until now, or offer-based content like this promo, that promo. I think that's where you're starting to see the sweet spot of the two of them cross over.
Excellent. Any follow up there, Hafiz, Paul? Any insights?
Yeah, I'd say Leanne, you sort of touched on it earlier too. Like all those PR content pieces are also being used in LLMs for citations, and so I think there's, I really hate doing stuff that's not tracked and totally attributable. But I think at least until that becomes the case, like until ChatGPT releases like a Search Console equivalent, I think if they ever do, that is. But I think there's value in even potentially overpaying commission for those, knowing that that's going to get you more placements, that's going to then feed a data into the LLMs, and you're not going to be able to attribute that back, but at least it's getting you stories out there that are valuable that the current publications are not going to be capturing. Because if you have an LLM citation, people are not very rarely clicking on the link, then clicking on the link from the LLM into the article, and the article to your website where the affiliate commission triggers. That's still value that's happening on an impression level, on a citation level, that's not being captured. So knowing that, you could compensate those affiliates or the publishers right now by just overpaying some amount, knowing that you're getting a large halo effect right now that's not able to be attributed.
I think I'd also like to kind of caveat, and I know I'm quite controversial on this, but under no circumstances should you be giving your PR agency the right to run your affiliate program. And I got to say that, I'm sorry I do, because PR and how you work with major publishers versus affiliates who are, entrepreneurial, out on the bleeding edge, finding traffic sources, connecting with audiences, they have a completely different mindset. So if you are currently asking your PR agency to also launch an affiliate program for you, I really would highly not recommend that. Like, get a specialist to do a specialist job.
Amen to that.
Not going to argue.
Amen.
The industry has evolved. It makes sense. PR's already doing this outreach. They might as well try to get into the affiliate game. And I understand why they're doing it. It's just they just don't have the experience most of the time to succeed with it. But, you can't fault people for hustling and trying out there.
Absolutely. And the thing is that they should be working cohesively together. Like the PR people should be plugging into performance, and the performance people should be plugging into PR for narrative. But where it becomes a problem is when PR teams think that affiliate is all about getting placement when actually it's about getting sales. So how do you position the traffic, the price, the methodology, the cadence is not the same as how you would work with an international publisher, like a media company. So that's where it gets a little bit muddy, but I think the two should definitely be speaking.
100%. Paul, when you see affiliate content consistently converting out there, how should social teams translate that into organic and paid creative frameworks?
Yeah, so it's a case of reverse engineering a lot of the time, because affiliate content is like, it's live market messaging testing, so social teams shouldn't really be looking at that and directly copying it. It's more around like I say, reverse engineering the pattern around it. So, affiliates are essentially running those like decentralized creative tests at scale and with not a lot of budget, obviously. So we need to look at what's consistently converting, what's not luck, what's the signal, and then break it down into 3 layers. So we need to firstly like identify the angle that they're using, what is so rather than just copying the script, for instance, we want to be looking at trying to extract and going, okay, so what's the core claim that they're making within the content? If I don't know, like reduced bloating in 7 days or whatever, something that's quite hooky and brings people in. And then, are they handling the objection within that hook and, looking at the content structure of that, and then like finding the emotional trigger. So is that relief? Is it confidence? Is it status? Is it convenience? Whatever it might be. And then look at the offer positioning, because obviously no content is ever really good without a really good sort of payoff or offer. And so we look at the actual sort of bottom of the funnel kind of offer. Is it a discount? Is it versus a bonus versus bundle? And then from there, from that particular layer, we can create a hypothesis. So we can go, okay, well, this is the basis of what we're going to do. And then we can turn that into a creative framework. So the creative framework that we use a lot is like hook, proof, mechanism, CTA. So we look at those things. So hook, why are so many runners switching to ASICs or whatever, like looking at big brands like that, and then looking at the proof, and then looking at the mechanism, the mechanism being is, the actual sort of like product benefit, for instance, like it's only the insole or whatever, or it's like high arch compression or whatever it might be, if we're looking at a particular like running trainer or whatever. But the point is like the affiliate is essentially telling us what is resonating. And then we as paid social, paid creatives can just test how far we can scale that. So ultimately, we're like the fire in your ass, basically. It's like we're just like boosting it, giving it some rocket fuel. And then I'd say the final layer of all of that is like we need to look at how do we respect the contextual shift of that. So, affiliate content often works because it's editorial, it's comparative, listicles, it's long form potentially as well, and it feels independent. So what we don't want to do is we don't want to completely like break that apart. We need to preserve the social proof of that, the authority framing around that as well, and also looking at preserving the angles of comparison that they've managed to create. So we're not just trying to turn it into something that just breaks the feed. We do want to do that, but at the same time, it's like we're trying to preserve what made it good. And essentially, like affiliates are telling us what to say. We just test how aggressively we can say it.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I love that, because a lot of the time, I mean, I've worked with some pretty big clients, and when you feed back some of the data that affiliates are sending, because affiliates are not just getting the message out there, they're also what happens after the message is read. So affiliates optimize their conversion channel of how the client goes from the offer content, whatever the hook is, through to the sale. And often what we found is that affiliates, actually the data that we get through the affiliate channel actually helps the client streamline their conversion process on site based on the feedback that the affiliates give, because they know what the averages are across multiple different brands. So all of that data gets compounded through their platform. And this is why I love what Hafiz said at the beginning. I will pay an affiliate more money if that affiliate can feed back data to me that helps me improve my conversion rate. Because if I'm not only improving it for the affiliate channel, I'm improving it for the client through all of their other channels as well. Because the traffic's coming in from different platforms now and different search levels of search journey. Like they're not at awareness stage anymore. They're now on intent. How does that customer flow happen on the back end different to what happens when you're putting a PR piece on a major news publication? At that point, the client hasn't actually decided that they need or want that product. So that's the kind of data that you need to be feeding back.
It's not just the feedback itself. It's actually like the feedback loop that you create. So it's like speed wins a lot of the time, because your competitors are not sitting around on their, on their hands. Like you need to be iterating and iterating quickly. And if you're getting that deep level of feedback and you've got a really nice tight feedback loop in true partnership, as Hafiz said at the beginning, then you're able to not just reduce time, but you're reducing wasted spend as well, and wasted energy. And, ultimately you can get to, V3, V4 of that particular campaign so much quicker. And it really does make a difference.
I've had product teams that launch an offer and think it looks great, and it's working like 80% in media channels, and it's absolutely abysmally failed on the performance side, on the affiliate side, because the mechanism.
Because their hypothesis wouldn't have been based on anything.
Yeah, it's so true. I've literally seen this in real life. So this is why data is so important, because, and then they have to scramble, within 3 days, come up with a whole new product offering, because they literally see revenue falling off on the tail end, like 2 or 3 days after the campaign's gone live. So it is super important to keep your affiliates at the forefront. And I always like to position us as a service provider to other marketing teams. The affiliate channel is not purely an acquisition channel. It's a service providing resource to other direct to consumer marketing teams.
Yeah,
Love that framing.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Hey,
I'm stealing that. I'm stealing that. I'm so. Where's my pen?
Oh, we'll get a transcript over for you. Don't worry about it, Paul. Hafiz, what makes affiliate data uniquely valuable as a signal compared to paid media or social data? And why do you think teams trust it less than they should?
Yeah, I'd say like one of the areas where it's more valuable like compared to paid media channels is you actually have a lot more understanding of where the traffic can come from. I mean, the exception to this if you're working with like paid media affiliates, but if you're working with like creators, social influencers, podcasters, emailers, B2B partners, you know exactly the kind of audiences that you're working with, their interests, things like that. You have that understanding in place. Whereas with paid media channels, what pocket of traffic did Meta narrow in on for this campaign or this ad set? It's a black box. Same for YouTube, right? Like you just don't know how the algorithm honed into that. And you can clone the campaign and run it again, and now it's picked up a different audience. You just have no idea. So I really like the fact that you can understand and create that data-driven approach with the audiences as a starting point. I also think it, like kind of based on the stuff we actually just talked about, it actually gives you a really unique way to test things privately. If you can run a campaign and give like one batch of affiliates one way to run it, another batch of affiliates another way to run it, and kind of A/B test things behind the scenes without changing your site publicly. And like A/B tests on your website have a lot of holes in them, right? Like the cookies, tracking issues, things like that. So you could run a test like what if we did a 15% offer versus a 25% offer? Obviously 25 is going to do better, but by how much? Is it worth the extra 10 points? All those kind of questions. You could launch that as an A/B test on your website, but if someone clicks on an email, signs up to an email, clicks on an email later, now they're on a different device with a different cookie, they see the other offer, like it just doesn't work in the same way. Lots more gaps on that approach. So I like the ability to test things privately with affiliate traffic. And I mean, you asked about where it's less trustable. I'd say, the first big one is there's a lot more incentive for fraud in the channel compared to others. So, you could have like someone running like brand search traffic or something like that, or other methods of fraud. And that's one area where the channel then kind of gets a bad reputation, and the data from it then as a whole, even the good stuff, kind of gets questioned. And I'd say another one is where you're playing off people's audiences, where they have a lot of pull with their audiences. And, something that where a paid media campaign or a average creator would fall flat on from a okay funnel, but then you run it through like a strong influencer that has really good pull with your audience. One where like if they tell their audience to jump, the answer is going to be like how high, and if you run that campaign through them, then the reliability of the data, it may work, but it may not scale. Like that data is kind of invalid from other campaigns. And so that's where you have to be careful of like what data you trust and how replicable it is for other channels.
I know Leanne's got a lot of thoughts on this.
I do, but I've kind of lost my train of thought a little bit here because there was something that you said earlier that I wanted to comment on. It'll come back to me. I'm sorry. I blame it on the menopause.
I think it's
They come in and then they go out.
If I noticed correctly, you were gonna say that the affiliate data loses a little bit of.
No, I remember now.
Trust.
I remember now. Yeah, it was about the data.
Yeah.
So, you said how like the offers, it could be 25% or 15%. Sometimes it's not in the offers. Sometimes, and I'm speaking from a SaaS perspective now, sometimes we've actually been able to feed back to the brand team and say clients don't actually want a bigger discount. What they want is another like part of the product unlocked that's more valuable to them than the money. And that makes a huge commercial difference to your business, because you think you're giving away freebies, which costs you money to get the client, but actually the client doesn't want that. So that's where you start to like really dig into like margins and profit within your program.
Yeah, perceived value, isn't it? Like it's, that's why we kind of like look at the offer at the bottom of the funnel, it's not just about reducing the amount that they're paying for it. Actually, they want more value, not just like less purchase, like they don't want to spend less necessarily, but we might be looking at bundles instead, or bonuses, and like even things as simplified as like free shipping or free next day or whatever. Like when you unlock, it's massive just perceived value, and if they're paying a lot for it already, then it just basically sweetens the deal. It's not about like changing the psychology of the purchase as such.
Yeah,
because a lot of the
go ahead.
No, I was going to say a lot of the affiliate managers that we kind of like train and talk to as well, they always go, "Oh, my budget isn't big enough." Well, have you actually asked affiliates what their customers actually want? Because I think you'll find it's not a bigger offer, it's not a bigger bonus. It's actually something else that's perceived value that you haven't even thought about yet. So it's because the other thing is like, I see a lot of affiliate managers assuming what they think their affiliates need instead of asking them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, have you done a survey and asked your affiliates what you could be doing better? It's the most simplest, basic marketing tactic, but we overcomplicate our lives sometimes, and maybe you just need to ask.
Oh my God. I am joined to hundreds of affiliate programs. I literally never see surveys asking me what I want, which is just insane to me.
No one cares what you want, Dustin. No one cares what you want.
Big ball. Hafiz, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, like, now you're going to get 20 of those tomorrow.
I hope so.
Massive spam bomb.
Oh, awesome. I had a nice comment in here. I don't know who it was. Data's everything. Data never lies. It's the people interpreting in the news. I wouldn't necessarily call people liars, but everybody interprets things a little bit differently and skews to how they're believing, right? Like, so great comment. Love that. Leanne, going on to you. What mistakes do you see brands make when they try to operate? Oh my God. Operate. I can't say that word. I can't read. All right. What mistakes do you see brands with affiliate data across teams, and what should they be doing instead?
So a lot of the time, and I'm talking like based on the clients that we manage, which are pretty big enterprise clients, right? So a lot of the times there'll be like a QBR that happens once a quarter where everybody comes together and they go, okay, so what did the affiliate channel do? And because there's a misunderstanding of what the affiliate channel is for within the business, not what it does, but what it is for. And this ties back to my point of, the other marketing heads, so head of paid, head of social, head of SEO, they need to be, the narrative to them actually needs to be on your page. Tell me what you want to do and I will get my people to amplify it for you. So when you go in with that mindset, I've found that suddenly everybody becomes more aware of the affiliate channel. We're not just stuck in a shroom room focused on CPA sales. Like, we actually get more of the conversation around how do we leverage this channel? How do we, spend our money more wisely as a conglomerate or as a business? How do we make sure that what we're doing over here on paid gets amplified through all the partners that we have available in performance? And when the teams start to come together and
all right, we lost her. That's going to happen in a coffee shop. Any other thoughts on that, Hafiz, Paul?
Kind of lost the train of what she was saying there a little bit, yeah, I think when she was referring to, like, kind of like we're your bitch a little bit, it's kind of true a little bit. We especially as like a paid media team, we kind of like need to be in a supporting role a lot of the time. Like, we definitely can lean in and drive the strategy, but ultimately it's about insight and using the knowledge that's already been created by the affiliate.
Leanne, you found the horizontal view. That's great.
I found the horizontal. I swear to God, the fact that we've actually managed to have a decent conversation for the last 40 minutes while I've been sitting in Starbucks is just amazing to me. Yeah. So thank you for bearing with me.
All right. Do you have any closing thoughts? Where you were in mid thought there?
Yeah. So I think just, don't get overwhelmed by the data either, because as you said, a lot of people will take the data and interpret it the way that they want to see it. Like, the numbers shouldn't lie, but you also need to have like a practical and tactical aspect of why you're looking at the numbers. What problem are you trying to solve? And try and solve one problem at a time. don't let the data try and solve every problem, like,
Hmm.
and do that A/B testing as well, but also get other teams involved. Because a lot of the conversations that I hear happening in the industry is nobody understands this channel. We're the only one that knows what we're doing. How do I get more, budget? How do I explain to my C-suite that I need to be doing this and that? Well, guess what? It's understanding the data. It's getting that data to tell that story to all of these people and showing them how you can support them with the roles that they have to play in the direct-to-consumer challenge.
Excellent. Paul, how can paid teams use affiliate data to reduce creative testing risk and CAC, like before they actually spend real budget?
Yeah, so we kind of alluded to it earlier a little bit. As a paid team, we're using the affiliates ultimately to reduce the amount of bad creative bets that we make. Because ultimately a lot of paid media teams that they're testing creative in a bit of a vacuum. Like they're not doing it they're doing it on a hunch a lot of the time. Especially with the absence of data. And affiliates already have that kind of pressure tested, they have that messaging tied in to actual revenue, which is quite interesting as well. So, ways that we can use the data is that we can almost like pre-validate angles. So, for instance, if four independent publishers are leaning into a particular angle, like, I don't know, if it was like a sort of like medical product or whatever, and if it's like clinically proven, for instance, and it's driving revenue, then, and four of them are using it, that's not just a coincidence. Then it's like, they've positioned that within a place of validation. So we can, instead of us then doing 12 random angle tests, we can at least test 3 proven ones. So it reduces the amount of creative bets that we make. The other way is like we can look at, because a lot of brands, like, they just don't get their offer right. So, it's great running all the paid media in the world, creating all this fantastic creative, but if you don't have like intelligence or an intelligent offer, then it's all going to crumble at the last. So, affiliates they're able, it's like what Hafiz was saying, around the sort of like testing privately. If we can get that sort of like privately tested data and then bring that in, then we can understand like what the affiliate knows in terms of what discount thresholds convert, whether it's bundle over a percentage discount like we were talking about before, or if something like like psychological like urgency, for instance, if that creates uplift in terms of like CVR or whatever, then we can use that to reduce the amount of cash that we're spending in learning. So it's, the affiliate already knows. So why aren't we leaning into that knowledge? And I guess the other thing is as well is like, it's like getting insight into the depth of the funnel as well. So the affiliates can actually show us where drop off is happening. They can show us like, how to pre-handle some objections in content, and any particular, if it's SEOs, for instance, SEO affiliates, we can look at like what FAQs are driving clicks, and we can use all of that data to put that into our ad and address that up front. So even if an affiliate, like if we take the insights from the affiliate and it removes just like 2 losing creative tests per month, for instance, that quite frankly could be like tens of thousands saved in paid media spend. And obviously that's going to be that's like you buttering up to the CFO for sure. But like you want to be showing a CAC reduction, you want to be showing like the amount of money you can save per month. So I think it's almost like we can use the affiliates as like creative assurance, insurance, so that we're not making as many bad bets.
Excellent. Any other thoughts there, Hafiz, Leanne? Okay.
I mean, Paul's a genius, so I don't think I can add anything to his advice, but it makes financial sense, which is great.
Beautiful.
Really not. Just lots of mistakes.
Mistakes got you to this place, right? So
I've blown up the lab many times.
Such an important point, and I actually think that's a brilliant point, because a lot of affiliate managers I speak to are afraid to make mistakes. And actually, like you and I, all of us have made our fair share of mistakes to fail forward. You have to go through the tiny micro interactions of failing in order to learn what works. So we're not saying go and fail on a spectacular level with $1 million, but go fail with 100 or 500 and see what happens. Because even those micro tests can lead you closer to being more marginally commercially profitable.
Yeah, that's a good point actually, and that's actually something we tell sort of like we kind of profess to new clients is like, you want to be if we do a bad test or we fail, it's not that we've lost something, we've actually gained something. Is that we just know what not to do next, and so that can be really insightful, or we can end up stumbling across something genius and just like, wow, happenstance really happened, and it was like serendipitous that we made that mistake, but that's turned into a viral bit of content or whatever. And yeah, it's a mistake can be an incredible thing to make. It's always, well, they say there's no such thing as mistakes, it's just learning.
Yeah. And from a career standpoint, if you're an affiliate manager and you're not a squeaky wheel trying to get some budget to test this out, your career, your resume isn't going to grow for your next role in this world, because you need to be testing and showing people that you are an effective affiliate manager or tester of budget. So get out there and do your best. Hafiz, being that you're a network and tracking solution, what are the most common internal barriers that keep affiliate insights trapped inside of one team? And how do high-performing orgs break that pattern?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing I recommend there is just having like a MTA platform that like tracks everything across all your channels, something that's a neutral third-party tracking solution that covers all your channels in one spot. Because I think what comes up, I mean, firstly, the other thing that I often see is like the affiliate team in many businesses, not all, but in many, are like the runt of the marketing team, and they get the least resources. And I think what's often missed, pardon me? Yeah,
the hardest.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think what often is missed is how much the affiliate channel impacts the other channels. And if you're just looking in your meta ads, you don't see that. If you're looking in your affiliate platform, you don't see that. So if there's a cross-channel tracking solution like a Rockerbox or a Triple Whale, one of those kind of tools, I think those are the first thing I'd recommend standing up and pushing for, because that'll get you that cross-channel data, and then it's very clear to see, well, hey, look at maybe 25% of our meta sales have been impacted at an affiliate touch point. Well, that's interesting. Like, how's that factored into the decision making? And then I think it goes back to what Leanne said earlier around like you're a service provider for those other teams, and considering and pointing out that data if it's not coming out the surface, and then how do you play into all the kind of different touch points that we've talked across this entire webinar so far? Like, what about the creatives? Like, instead of having the paid team try to figure it out from your channel, like looking at, as the expert in the channel, bringing that to them proactively, including things like opportunities that are naturally cross-channel, like an affiliate deal with a boosted social post automatically creates that cross-channel collaboration, because it's usually going to be your paid team running it using an affiliate's original post. So then naturally that creates those links in the organization. And then another one also that we kind of touched on earlier was like, since you have a paid relationship with these people, they can be used. It's kind of different than like a customer relationship, even though many of them are customers as well too. So utilize that for advice, product feedback, early data on new products, and get them in front of your product team, your other marketing members, focus groups, things like that. Like that alone, when that happens, those other team members are. I've never seen a case where they're not thankful that happened, and that in turn will build the affiliate channel as like a pillar within the organization that's like essential, not as a side channel.
Great insights.
Love that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'll just sorry, I'm nodding along and loving that. So, I'm learning too. It's-
Leanne, what has to
Yeah.
change out there, like either culturally or operationalizing? I
Operationally.
cannot say words.
Yeah.
For affiliates to be treated as decision-making engines rather than just another revenue line.
We just got to change the narrative. We've got to educate internally and externally as well. So use your data to tell the stories in your QBR meetings and your monthly checkups. Go and, get up from your desk and go and visit the head of affiliates in the media team, or, make a Zoom call with them once a month and go, hey, what's happening in your world? Can some of that, impact what I'm doing? It's about building internal, we're so hyper focused on building partner relationships, which is external to our company in the affiliate team. And that is your brief. Start thinking about how do you build internal relationships as well with some of the other media channel owners and some of the other agencies that you're working with as well. Because whilst you can feed them data from the data that you see in the robust platforms that we now have in the affiliate channel, you also need to be allowing them to feed you insights too, because a lot of what the paid media team and the PPC team do can highly impact the kind of commercial relationships that you want to be building with affiliates that have traffic in the same channels. So, many's the time I've had conversations with internal PPC teams, and then leverage my entire affiliate force to go push the competition out of my space, just by being tactical and bringing those partners in and doing exactly what Hafiz said, using their data to actually railroad the competition. So think tactically about what you want your affiliate partners to do for you, and think about the overall business objective, which is bring in more customers, make more sales, repeat purchases, whatever the KPI is. And then think about how does your program actually leverage all of that through all the funnel, like all the traffic sources that you've got at your fingertips in the performance space. How do you amplify everybody else? And that's really all that we have to do, I think. Sounds easy, but
That's
I know
it.
it's hard.
Yep, no problem. Easy game. Awesome. I have to make a note to myself so I can be a better host next time around. There's a couple of words I'm missing in my vocabulary that I need to work on, so I'm not going to try to say them again. All right, as we wrap.
Actually, I have one more thing for what
Go for it.
was in there. Like, it does sound easy, and it is actually easy at a high level. I think where the challenge actually becomes is creating the space and time to do the incremental growth-oriented things versus the day-to-day twisting dials and platforms. And I think that's where investing in automation, especially in the day of AI agents and all that kind of stuff, really plays a role, because that's what frees you up from the time to then actually do those kind of surveys and communication with other team members, internally or externally. All this stuff, if you can't implement it, obviously nothing we've said today is like rocket science hard. It's just creating the space to go do that. And totally get it that like in your day, it's often very busy because there's a lot of must get done items. So how do you take those off the plate so you can do these?
Great point. Some brands are doing this too late, right? And it's pushed to the end of their workday rather than trying to get to this, and they need to be prioritizing it instead. Go ahead, Leanne.
There's a South African proverb. Okay, so I don't know if you don't know me, I was born in Cape Town in South Africa. There's a South African proverb. It's how do you eat an elephant? And the answer is one bite at a time. So one micro test at a time is what you need to be doing, not getting overwhelmed with, I need to do all of these things and I don't have the time in the day. Just do one. Prioritize one per week or one per month, whatever feels relevant for you. And then just chip away at it one bite at a time.
Well said. Paul, as we wrap up here, if you're listening today on this podcast and you want to unlock more value from the affiliate data in your next 30 days, what's that first move that they should be making?
Well, again, to echo what was kind of said before as well, is like not looking at affiliate reports as revenue sheets, and start looking at them as more insight reports, really. But the first thing I would do is pull like the top 10 to 20 revenue driving pieces of content. So not just publishers, but looking at actual pages, posts, videos, and then deconstructing them. So what's the headline? What's the claim? What's the offer? go into that objection handling stuff as well. And then I would start to categorize those. So, and we do this with personas as well when we're starting new campaigns, like for new brands and what have you. So it's like look at the themes of the messaging. So we go, is it authority driven? Is it discount driven? Are we looking at comparisons or problems? Problem solution driven, or are we looking at lifestyle? And you'll start to see patterns with what's driving the revenue, and then we from that kind of insight, we need to create those paid creative hypotheses. So we'll take maybe the top 2 to 3 recurring angles and turn them into structured paid tests, and then we'll just track it from there. And just to double down on, we use Triple Whale. We do all of that kind of like cross channel tracking and making sure that the attribution system is like not heavily weighted in one way, or if it is, we need to kind of understand why. So, and ultimately we're trying to prove the affiliate pretty much. Like we're trying to go like, is what the affiliate discovered right? Can we confirm that for them? So I don't think it's not really like a technical unlock so much for us. It's just like, I think this is the theme of today. It's just like getting affiliate, paid, social, all in the same room. Whatever frequency you want to do, just get us in the and start sharing, just have like that insight meeting. So I mean, if we were looking over a 30-day window, we don't want to be like completely throwing the baby out with the bathwater. We don't want to be overhauling everything, but we just want to create an environment where we're stopping guessing. Like let's have some insights, let's at least have some validation as to what we want to do next, and then, like people have said, one little micro test at a time, and work together. Yeah, basically.
A baby bathwater, wasn't that a Inflection client there, Hafiz?
I think it's a mastermind group. Yeah.
I was going to say that sounds like a really dodgy product.
I think it's more the phrase. Yeah, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
Ooh, amazing. Any other final tips for folks, Hafiz, Leanne?
No, I think we've covered it all. And I'm going to have to scoot off in a minute because I'm literally like Starbucks is closing. So I'm going to go.
Hey,
one thing about what you said there, Paul, like around like, putting people in the same room together. Like, I think that goes back to, how you think of the affiliate. It's structured as a channel, but really it's a business model. And then the channels within that, like, when was the last time the person running the social affiliates talked to the paid social or the organic social team, or the person running the paid media affiliates talked to your internal paid media team? And like, there's so many insights if you just look at it from the whole channel, or each channel individually, and then internally run, externally run by affiliates. And then the data that can get shared across those. I would also just consider looking at it from a strictly channel perspective.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just like you say, making the time and the room to do that, creating that environment. And if you can relinquish some responsibilities and time through automation and AI, especially, then you're gonna have more opportunity to do that. And I think that's actually, just to touch on AI just for a second, like from a philosophical point of view, like a lot of people are worrying about AI and things like that, and you can understand the polarization of AI, but ultimately there are so many positives, especially within marketing and affiliate marketing specifically, that AI is going to do so much good. And it'll actually allow us as marketers and just as human beings to be in the same room more often, because that sort of like heavy lifting can be done by automation and agentic AI and all those kinds of things. So yeah, I would say, it's an amazing resource, and just bloody use it. It's amazing.
Yeah, and so even like Leanne's elephant analogy, like, so maybe instead of starting with one bite of new tests and all that, like what's one bite of things you can take off your plate with AI first before you add even a small bite of something else onto your plate.
Mm-hmm.
Great call. AEO, GEO, LLMs. I'm just trying to fill these words so that it triggers into those into ChatGPT and Claude.
And it appeases the AI overlords.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Paul. You get what I'm going after here. All right.
Absolutely.
For everybody that stayed tuned throughout this whole thing, I've got a top 25 publishers in 2026 that I think are doing amazing things. It's a curated list that I've come up with and folks that I've been talking to. Go to dustinhouse.com/top, or you can hit that QR code right there and get it. I want a special thanks to Starbucks for hosting Leanne and sticking with her while she did this. Leanne, you're such a trooper. Thank you so much for staying with us here.
Thank you for putting up with me, and I'm sorry that this happened, but anyway, we made it through. So thank you so much for having me, Dustin.
Awesome.
And to you guys as well. It was a great conversation.
Paul, Hafiz, thank you so much for being here as well. And have a good evening, folks.
It was a pleasure. Thanks all.
All right.
Pleasure.
Take care.
Cheers, Dustin. Thank you.
All right.